And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your host, Fearon Derry.
Sit down, shut up, and listen up.
Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you alongside the philosopher Chris Ermer.
I'm asleep at the controls.
You're having too much fun with the Intercontinental belt there.
I'm trying to get it buckled up.
Trying to get it all snapped and fastened.
I don't even have the strength to buckle the belt, which is not a good indication for my
to take Kevin Nash's advice. Take a shower, hit the weights, get a clue. You know, that whole deal.
Get a clue. That would be helpful. That might be the first thing, and then
you can pick which order you want to go with, because usually you want to hit the weight, then take a shower. But he was in the moment at the time. A classic sounder from a couple of years ago, Kevin Nash. Yeah, no audio clips this week because we want to bring you all the excitement, the fun, the pageantry here at Senator Tommy Tomlinson's Children's Expo here at Council Rock South High School. We're here until 1 o'clock. The event's going on until 2 today, and we've got just a ton of stuff going on. There's a physics and flight section here. I see there's a bunch of planes and whatnot set up over here to our left. We got the moon bounce going on over here to our right. We got representatives from St. Mary Medical Center, Silver Lake Nature Center, the Trihampton YMCA, Tyler State Park is here. There's just a whole bunch of stuff going on. Trenton Thunder's here. The Franklin Institute, they've got they had the traveling science show earlier today. Coming up, actually right now there's right now and at 1 o'clock there's a magic show courtesy of Nelson Illusions.
Very cool stuff. They have face painting.
They have face painting. There you go. You can come here, get your face painted. But pick your wrestler who had his face painted. The Ultimate Warrior, Demolition. You could go with
Hardy Boys. Didn't they go with something?
Matt and Jeff Hardy. I mean, Jeff Hardy paints pretty much everything with him. I mean, he's always been a rather charismatic character. That was more Jeff than Matt Hardy. He got more and more eccentric as he got. Let's say as he took more bumps in the ring. We'll go with that to not sound too insulting. But this past Monday on Raw, it was to say that it was Bizarro World would be an understatement. The compilation of the most hardcore of wrestling fans coming in from all over the world, using vacation days not just to be there for WrestleMania, but a lot of them stuck around the next night for Raw because it was right next door to MetLife Stadium in the Izod Center. And, I mean, a lot of these people coming from around the world. Quick personal story from Access, and I don't know if I mentioned this last week or not, but I get up there, I'm wearing the BCB polo like I'm rocking now. I've got the press pass going, so I'm looking kind of official, especially, well, at least more official than I usually do. And the first two people I walk to, they approach me. They ask me where WrestleCon is, which is another convention for all of the non-WWE people. That's where Hulk Hogan, Sting, The Ultimate Warrior, and a bunch of others were. And turns out they were both from Austria. Yeah, first two people I run into, they're from 4,000 miles away in the middle of Europe.
They were not named Hans and Franz, were they?
I did not ask. I did not ask their names.
They were there.
I went with The Rock. It doesn't matter what their name is. I went that route. But then I walk about 10 feet further over to the merchandise stand, one of the merchandise stands set up by WWE. A group of people want me to take their picture with one of their iPhones. They're all from England. So, I mean, to say that this is an international phenomenon is an understatement. WWE loves going to. There was that person who I think was in one of the front rows who held up their sign saying, I flew 16,200 and some odd miles from Melbourne, Australia to be at WrestleMania. I didn't get to meet that person, but I mean that would have been a cool experience. But just the international whatnot that's going on is amazing, and a lot of these people who came in from England, from Australia, from different parts of Europe, hung out for Raw, and they just took over, and basically the fans became the show as opposed to the wrestlers.
It's kind of interesting because it actually prompts a question. It seems to me that most of the talent comes stateside, and most of the top wrestlers are developed right here in the United States. I mean, am I wrong on that? Is there starting to be more development in other countries, and we're starting to draw the talent from all over the world, like the major sports have?
Oh yeah, probably a prime example is a former WWE and World Heavyweight Champion Sheamus, who is the first Irish-born WWE champion. I mean, he's from Ireland,
and I know
he's one of your top guys.
Certainly, there are a lot of deep wrestling roots in Japan, and you hear a lot of crossover with some of the Japan, wrestling and stuff. But it seems like that's one of the ways that it's going to be moving now, where you're going to see guys from all over the world talk about the best of the best. It's going to, the talent, when you get recognition in other areas, other parts of the world, you're going to draw talent from those parts of the world. You're going to inspire people from there.
Oh yeah, and that's definitely what's going on here. Certainly with that, but Raw this past Monday at the Izod Center, the fans, if they weren't entertained by something, they were going to entertain themselves. Whether it was, and the most notable example of that was a match between Sheamus and Randy Orton that went about 15 minutes, and the crowd wanted no part of it from the beginning. So initially, a few people started doing the chant that you hear in a lot of soccer matches, the ole, 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 ole. So they get that going, and over the course of the match, they have chants and cheers for referee Mike Chioda, Rob Van Dam, who hasn't wrestled in WWE in probably about 3 years, but he recently became a free agent, so there's a strong possibility that WWE might re-sign him. And he was in attendance for the Hall of Fame and a couple of other things with WWE. JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield, who was on commentary. Same thing with Jerry Lawler, who was on commentary, and that eventually led to Michael Cole getting a cheer and chant of his own, who was on commentary, the play-by-play guy. There was an ECW chant, for the Extreme Championship Wrestling. It was in North Jersey. New York and Philly was the home of ECW. There was a cheer and chant for Randy Savage, who passed away a couple of years ago, unfortunately. Actually, we're coming up on 2 years, I think, next month that he had passed away. One for Shawn Michaels, HBK. Finally, the Big Show ran out to kind of make the match a no contest and beat up both guys. And the crowd was actually chanting, "Thank you, Big Show!" Clap, and then the obvious clapping that follows. So that's just some of the things. But the thing that took off was the crowd singing along to Fandango's theme.
What?
Yeah, you'll have to look this up on the internet, because this apparently is starting to become a thing, almost like the Harlem Shake a couple of months ago.
It's the Gangnam style of wrestling.
Yeah, the Gangnam style of wrestling, and and it became a big thing just on Monday night. The crowd being bored with what was going on, they just were singing along with Fandango's theme, and it just stuck throughout the night. Oh, I thought for a minute somebody was going to hit Fandango's theme, but actually I've got it here, courtesy of wonderful acoustics. Oh, yeah, people dancing along to the Fandango theme. Wow. Yeah. And to say the least that it is expanded, to give you just a couple of ideas.
That's some international flavor, though.
Oh, yeah.
Fandango.
Yeah. Who would have thought? But, a lot of this was brought on by the English crowd, who are used to singing songs and things throughout an entire soccer match. So I think that's where a lot of this was brought on. And even after the show was over and in the public transportation, the trains heading out of the North Jersey area, people were doing it on the trains. And there's video of that up on YouTube.
I just wish I had a name like Mike Chioda. That's the kind of name that you could really, Mike Chioda. I can just imagine that cheer going out over there. And
yeah, mine doesn't really work with that either. I'll have to figure out a way to kind of work around that. But the theme, Fandango's theme, it reached as high as number 11 on the top songs downloaded on iTunes in the UK. It peaked at number 11 after the crowd singing the tune over and over during the show. As of this morning, I checked, it's fallen to number 90, which is still respectable. And to give you an idea, Harlem Shake is at 74, while Gangnam Style's at 66. So just a couple of the trends. Plus, there's a online of the Houston Texans cheerleaders doing the Fandango dance to the song.
Well, I'd like to see that. That sounds more appealing.
Yeah, all you have to do is type in, Houston Texans cheerleaders and Fandango. I'm sure it'll pop right up. And so too will the song. Even PETA, the People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, has gotten in on the Fandangoing act, as they want people to Fandango vegan. they have like a 30-second commercial with a bunch of different animals doing the Fandango dance. It's something that's taken off. I don't know if it's necessarily going to get to a Harlem Shake level, but it's something that's at least been interesting over the course of the past week. We're here live at Senator Tommy Tomlinson's Children's Expo here at Council Rock South High School. I think we've got a Sesame Street character or two who just walked by here. Now, you're a parent of little ones. I haven't watched Sesame Street in probably a good 20 years, so I'll defer to your expertise on this one.
And for some reason, this iconic Sesame character is slipping my mind.
Oh,
She's
no.
like, it's not Rosita. No, it's not Rosita. Oh, no.
Where's the kid to help us out here? Can we get a lifeline?
I need one.
Having trouble hearing with the headphones. I'll have to...
Abby Cadabby.
Abby Cadabby. Okay, there we go. As a father of a youngin', you should be embarrassed.
Well, you know, my daughter's grown up a little bit.
Oh, she's grown up. You know what it is? I think in my mind she's still like 2, but she's not anymore.
No, now we've moved on to other PBS shows.
Martha
Speaks and Word Girl, and I don't want to go into it.
I was going to say, I haven't watched PBS since, like I said, I mean, Square One was on. That gives you an idea how long ago I was watching. I'm showing my age a little bit there.
Back on PBS, The Electric Company.
Yes, The Electric Company.
Hey, you guys. And, like, it's kind of fun. It's a good show by them. Anyway.
All right. And, I mean, probably among all of the insanity, one of the most notable things that I'm still getting goosebumps just thinking about, the crowd reaction. Finally, Dolph Ziggler cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase. And you're looking at me with curious eyes, so I'll reset the stage for you. Every July...
A valuable briefcase?
Yes. Every July, WWE has a Money in the Bank pay-per-view. In fact, this year it's going to be in Philadelphia, July 14th. The feature of it is they have 1, sometimes 2, but they've done away with the brand, so we'll just leave that out. But they have these ladder matches with 6 or 8 wrestlers, and they're all climbing the ladder to try to get this briefcase, which in the briefcase has a contract for a World Heavyweight Championship shot that they can use anytime within 1 calendar year.
I'd prefer like 5 pounds of cash money, but if that's what's in the briefcase, go, you know.
Oh, they had stuff like that back in the day.
So he cashed it in what?
He won it back in. You know, it just meant that at that immediate moment he can challenge the champion, and at that point the champion Alberto Del Rio had a leg injury, so he was trying to take advantage of the fact that he was injured.
Dirty,
but effective, because 2 minutes after cashing it in, Alberto Del Rio, despite being only on one leg, put up a fight, but in the end he fell to Dolph's finisher, the zigzag, and is your new World Heavyweight Champion.
That sounds like one of those soccer guys that lays down on the ground until you're ready to take him off on the stretcher, and then he pops back up. He's ready to play again.
No,
I guess he wasn't able to play as well as he should have been able to.
No, although that might not be a bad strategy for a champion going down the road. If they think that somebody's going to cash in, they fake an injury, and all of a sudden, I'm healthy. You're in trouble because you just wasted your cash in.
Yeah, it's like trying to you got to watch out for the wounded animal.
Exactly. But I mean, just so many different things with Raw. I mean, Dolph Ziggler, the entire 16,000 and change in the Izod Center, it was almost an expression of relief, because Dolph Ziggler has been he's been highly touted by a lot of fans for at least the last 2 years as kind of being on that cusp of greatness, like just, you know, kind of shattering the proverbial glass ceiling. Like, you know, he can see where greatness is, but he can't quite reach it. And this was that finally kind of moment, and the fans were they were welcoming it with open arms. Even though he's a bad guy, he's somebody who's supposed to be booed, but he's earned a lot of respect from the fans, and especially the more hardcore fans who made their way to the whole WrestleMania weekend experience. Anyway, let's go ahead and take care of our second and final timeout. We've got Today in Wrestling History with a rather notable historical moment in Extreme history. We'll talk a little bit about that coming up on the other side. We've got some Facebook feedback. I know that's been blowing up. We'll see if we can find a senator. See if we can get him over here with a little bit of time we've got left. But even if we can't get him between now and 1 o'clock, he's here till 2, as is the festival. the Expo, Senator Tommy Tomlinson's Children's Expo. That's what we're here for. Come on by. We've got we've got some lottery tickets here. That's a good reason to come on over. At least if you can make it here in the next 20 minutes. If not, there's a lot of fun stuff, a lot of interactive stuff, and
that's great, Fearon. Lotto for kids. That's really good, Fearon. Really.
Well, how are the kids going to get here? They're not pedaling their bike here. It's with their grown-ups. You know how the roll goes. It must be 18 years or older to play. There we go. That's something for the parents while the kids are bouncing around the moon bounce. They can come over here. They can get some lottery tickets. It's a win-win.
All right. Well, you've covered your bases.
Yes, I have. And quite well, I would say. All right, let's take it back to the studio. Starship Matt, turning the dials, pushing the buttons, always appreciated. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.